Welcome to the eCom Logistics Podcast, your go-to for e-commerce logistics insights, trends, successes, and lessons from the leaders and innovators in our space. This is truly a case study in trying to learn from how such a big organization is able to stay agile and nimble and stay grounded in customer expectations and pivot as needed as well. How do you stay ahead of what's next while having this mammoth organization that's spread all over the globe? And for you specifically, Scott, being the customer voice for the organization, that's not an easy task.
Boy, it sounds like an enormous task when you put it that way. You make me nervous. I love the fact that you started with culture. We have a very unique culture because our founder and CEO is still here. He founded the company with a group of other gentlemen almost 41 years ago now. Mogadam is still here. And we meet every Monday morning to go through how we're going to deploy capital for whatever the foreseeable future, whatever deals come to investment committee. And so having that group of people, even our whole executive committee has been here for a long time and knows how this business was built and this company was built. But it's not just the executives. I have a partner, Eileen O'Rourke, who's so much more than my EA. She's my partner. She makes sure I'm in the right place at the right time. I have the right content for the right meeting. She's the most customer-centric person that I work with. So from the top to the bottom of this organization, we've got great people. Sometimes we have people that we part ways with, or they part ways with us because they have different desires or different North Star, but that's fine. You use the term ahead of what's next. It really is a motivator. What's going to be next? Let's not talk about our 2025 business plan right now. Let's talk about what do we need to do in 25 to set us up for 2027. And the markets are volatile. Today, they're very volatile. Region by submarket. I could tell you 3 different stories of Los Angeles that people that say, oh, all of that's Los Angeles, but the submarkets are all incredibly dynamic. We have to have different strategy for each of those, and it starts with our teams on the field.
Absolutely. For the audience listening in, I hope you guys can grasp the complexity that Scott is mentioning here. Not only do you have the global scale that you're working with, but $100 million of capital gets deployed every single Monday in the investment meeting that he's talking about. This is a huge organization with people working through all sorts of different time zones. Customer priorities are constantly changing. So being able to be tapped into that is incredibly difficult. I think what really stands out to me, and this has taken me quite a while to learn. When I was young and naive, I used to have this romanticized idea of you don't want anybody that's on your team to leave. You want everybody to be with you forever. And over time, I've realized the thing that you mentioned, which is some people will not be a good fit, and that's okay. I think what's really important is knowing what is my company's culture and does it truly align and speak to the individuals that you surround yourself with, right? So the ability to select and keep those core people within the organization, helping them grow, retain them, etc. I'd love to hear, how do you attract and retain and empower the best talent that's out there?
Well, we strive to be good at it. We're not always the best. I think we try to learn not only from our successes and our mistakes, but also our peers. People talk about attracting the best talent, but you brought up a great term. It's not only attracting, but retaining that best talent. Mm-hmm. My job as a manager, a leader for all of my downstream reports is to put them in the best position to be successful for themselves and their family. If I do that, I know that they are going to be absolutely aligned with what we're trying to do. But if you feel like somebody is in a bad spot for themselves or their family, they're not going to be able to bring their best selves to work. They're not going to be able to have their heads clear. They're not going to be able to have the capacity in their mind to drive as hard as possible for a customer. So I think some of it is just being very self-aware. I had a situation, I did an annual review with this person, and I could tell this person wasn't engaged, wasn't happy with the results, wasn't happy with the feedback. And I hung up the phone and went on with my daily life because I had, I'm sure, 3 or 4 other reviews to do that day, maybe 7. 2 days later, that person submitted their resignation. It's on me. What I didn't do was read the tea leaves to say, I'm looking this person in the eye, and I got feedback. And the feedback was, you know, what you're saying is it's not working, or what I'm doing isn't working for me, or it's not working for my family. My radar was not precise enough to take that feedback. That's on me to learn, to take more time, to be attentive to our team, to listen. And then if you hang up the phone and you're like, that didn't go right, you just pick up the phone and call that person back and say, hey, I could be wrong, but I didn't feel like what we just discussed worked. So tell me, am I missing it? So I don't know. We're not perfect. I've been in this business for a long time, and my hair was much darker. You just kind of have to learn and realize If you take care of your team, they're going to take care of you. And that's really where the culture comes from.
Thanks for listening to the eCom Logistics podcast. If this episode brought you value, share it with your network and leave us a review. It really helps others discover the show and join in these conversations. And if your team is planning an event in 2025, consider partnering with eCom Logistics podcast. We're always looking for meaningful opportunities to elevate conversations shaping logistics and e-commerce. Until next time, stay curious, stay connected, and keep leading the way forward.